So this is editing Hannah at the end of the vlog. The intro of this video is wrong because we don't end up finding a 5-star read in this video, but I did want to still post it and show you what I read in March. So this video is more of a March reading vlog because it's a reading vlog that spans the entire month of March and all of the books I read in March. Except The Everlasting, which I have a standalone review for if you'd like to check that out. I just read a lot slower this month, and that's okay. So please enjoy the vlog you're about to watch, and I will see you later. We got the bathrobe on, we got the mini mic. It's time to start another reading vlog. Last year or the year before, I had a lot of fun doing the kind of reading vlog challenge of the vlog doesn't end until I find a 5-star read. And I'm going to recreate that this year. So the last 5-star read I had was The Everlasting by Alex E. Harrow. And ever since then, I've kind of just been chasing that high and wanting to find another 5-star. I have a whole review up for The Everlasting on my channel if you'd like to watch it. I love that book. And since then, I found some middling books. I've read some really, really good books, but none quite so perfect for me as The Everlasting. And so we're going to try to find another 5-star in this year vlog. My first attempt at a 5-star is going to be Anne of Green Gables. So this, I think, could be a 5-star because I have given middle grade 5-star in the past when it has hit me in this nostalgia, even though I've never read it before, if that makes sense. I want to find books that feel like my childhood, even if I didn't read them when I was a child. And Anne of Green Gables has the potential to do that. This happened with Arrows of the Queen by Mercedes Lackey. That was a 5-star middle grade that I read as an adult. Hopefully Anne can meet my expectations. It's also Snowmageddon 2026 here in Minnesota. It's currently a blizzard outside right now, so it is a perfect day to stay home and read. So welcome to the vlog, and I promise I will put the bathrobe away for the rest of the vlog. This is a heavily featured clothing item on my channel. Hello. Don't mind me. I just had like 2 pounds of strawberries because I didn't want them to go bad. They'd been sitting in the fridge for a week, so I'm surprised they were still as good as they were. So I am about 45% into Anne of Green Gables, and I fear I am enjoying this immensely. I say that like it's a bad thing, but it's not. This adopted child being loved and finding friends and finally getting parents and watching her adopted parents, Marilla and Matthew, like soften to her and open up to her and be charmed by this overdramatic, silly, imaginative little child is warming my heart. This feels a delight to read. This vlog may be very short. I've had 2 moments where I had some mist in my eyes. Wasn't full on crying, but I got misty. I love this. I'm having such a good time. Anne is such a delightful character. She has such a beautiful imagination and a zest for life, and everything to her is wonderful, and she's so passionate. She's such a passionate little child that I can't help but also be charmed by her. So I'm loving this. I'm having a great time. I'm loving the snow day we're having, despite having to shovel, and I will have to shovel again because it's still snowing. And from this morning, having shoveled this morning, there's already another 2 inches where I shoveled. So I'll be out there again soon, I'm sure. But that's my almost halfway update. I'm really liking this. Hello, I'm back. So I am now 67% of the way through Anne of Green Gables, and I'm still enjoying it. While I play my Pokemon game, because I don't have the new Switch, so I'm jealous of everyone playing the new Pokemon game. So I'm playing an old Pokemon game to scratch the itch. But I've been listening, and I enjoy following Anne's misadventures, her silly, goofy times that she's having. But there's a little bit of a lull in this, like, 30% or so. Like, after I updated you at, like, the 44% mark, 45% mark, to now has been a little slow. It feels very episodic. I mean, I bet the TV show is fabulous with this, actually. Each chapter feels like an episode of a TV show, or like a mini story. I don't know. I'm just feeling like a little bit of a lull here. I'm finding I wish Matthew was more in the picture in the book. I know at the beginning Marilla is like, hey, let me raise our adopted child however I want, but I didn't think that meant he wouldn't be involved in any way in, like, the family. Like, he's a reserved, quiet man, but he's, like, not on page very much, and he just bought Anne a dress for Christmas, and it was really sweet, and I was like, oh, I wish he was around more and involved more in Anne's life, and they had more interactions, because we're really seeing Marilla open up, and kind of her heart is softening, and she's realizing how important Anne has become to her, and is starting to, like, love Anne as a daughter. And I'm not really seeing as much from Matthew in that regard as I would like. So I'm still really enjoying it. I'm still really charmed by it. But I'm not enthralled as much so as I was previously. Maybe it'll turn around. I know what's going to happen. So maybe it'll hit me really hard and I'll end up giving this 5 stars. Anyway, it's upper 4-star at the moment, but I'll see in a bit when that thing happens how I feel about that. Hello, it's the next day. Just got home from work, and I'm about to go to the library for my volunteer shift. But I thought I'd do a quick update on Anne of Green Gables, and unfortunately, this is not a 5-star read. But I did really enjoy this book. Pretty much, I said all the things I was going to say in the previous clip. That all still stands. I was a little bit bored in the second half of the book. It really slowed down plot-wise for me, and I was really hoping Matthew would make more of an appearance on page, be a little bit more involved in parenting, and that wasn't really the case. He kind of maintained the same level throughout the rest of the book. So what I did really enjoy about this was Anne obviously is a phenomenal main character, and Marilla learning to open her heart to Anne and be a mother and learn how to love and be a good parent. That was really beautiful to see. Maybe it's because I'm not a parent, but because I'm an adult now, I really connected with Marilla more so than Anne. I mean, I do see myself in Anne a little bit in my memories of when I was a child. and the world was my oyster and that type of thing. But I really thought Marilla's character growth in this was really beautiful to see. She's still a little prickly, and I still love that about her, but she really does blossom into a really lovely parent for Anne. And I just want Anne to call her mom once. So I ended up giving this 4 stars. I really, really liked it. I got teary-eyed just a few times in the beginning of the book, but I really enjoyed it. But it doesn't meet the prompt of this video, which is trying to find a 5-star read. So I actually did try to read a second book already, or I started a second book, and I'm not even going to talk about it because I'm pretty sure it's going to be a DNF. It's another classic, and I'm just not feeling like reading another classic. I am a mood reader, so my mood does influence my enjoyment of a book. So I'm just not feeling another classic. I'm going to probably switch genres to something else, but I will let you know when I do find that next book. It's the next day, and I've started 2 new books. So this is book number 3 and 4 for this video. I decided to do a physical read and an audiobook while I'm doing other things, exercising, all that stuff. So my physical read I'm going to attempt is Between Two Fires by Christopher Bielman. This is a medieval horror fantasy that is getting kind of republished in 2026 with a foreword by Joe Hill. This was originally published in 2014, I believe. And I started the preface and the prologue, and I feel like this is going to be real dark. This is about a excommunicated knight coming across a child, a girl, in a village that has basically all died due to the Black Death, the plague. And the two of them go on a quest, and this has like hell opening and angels and demons and epic battles and that sort of thing. And I like Christopher Bielman. I've read a couple other books by him, so this one is, but I haven't given him 5 stars. I have not given this author 5 stars in the past, but I could potentially. I have been enjoying horror more and more as a reader, so we'll see how this one goes. I'm a little nervous about this because we've got a little girl and an older knight, and she's obviously a woman, a child girl in a terrible circumstance, and I'm just really worried what's going to happen to her, or what will be threatened of her. The threats going to be made against her, if you know what I mean. So, like, I'm probably going to check the trigger warnings for this one, and this might be a read during the daytime book for me. The audiobook I am going to start, or I did start this morning, was Daughter of the Other World by Shauna Lawless. This is the first book in her new series, which is a continuation of the Gale Song trilogy, which I read and loved last year, and this takes place 150-ish years after the events of that trilogy. So I don't want to get into spoilers, but I gave the first 3 books of that series 4 stars, and then 4.5 stars for books 2 and 3. So this could land for me. Obviously, I, again, don't want to get into spoilers, so I'll just tell you kind of how I'm feeling about it as I'm listening. But this is the audiobook I have on the go. I know I look a fright, but I wanted to let you know really quickly that I am taking a side quest, and you're coming along with me. Today, I am driving to Sioux Falls for the weekend. I know, very exciting place to be. But I have a friend out there who is having a baby, so we should support them. right, let me just re-say everything I just said in a deleted clip because my mic wasn't working. I had the mic plugged in, but it wasn't working. So, hey ho, here we go. So basically what I said in this deleted clip is it's been a whole week and I'm wearing the same sweatshirt. So hopefully this upcoming week is a little bit better for reading. I did read 100 pages of Between Two Fires in 2 reading sittings and haven't picked it up since. So we're reading a little slow right now, and I barely started the audiobook. But I can tell you a little bit more about Between Two Fires. Trigger warning for the next clip. This is a dark medieval fantasy horror set during the bubonic plague in France. It's gross, and there's some nasty stuff in here. So if you don't want to hear about it, skip ahead. I don't go into detail in my review, but in order to explain what this is even about, I have to give a trigger warning. So we have an excommunicated knight who joins a band of thieves, essentially, and he and his band of bros find this girl who is the only one of her whole village who is alive. The whole village died due to the plague, and the bros want to harm this child. And our main character, the excommunicated knight, is like, no, we're not doing that. And then he kills his merry band. So we love that. But then the little girl is like, hey, I see visions of angels and demons, and they're telling me I need to go to Paris, which is, of course, an epicenter for the plague. And the knight is like, no, F you, leave me alone. And so they end up traveling together anyway. Along the way, they find a priest who is gay, which is a little scandalous for the time period. And this priest is also a drinker of alcohol. He seems to be a little bit loosey-goosey. It seems to them that this is the end of the world, and so he's just like, all bets are off. So he joins up, so we kind of have like this little band traveling together. This book is really hallucinatory in that I don't know what's real and what's fake. So the little girl sees angels and demons, but are they actually there? There's a literal monster in this book that the knight slays, but was it really monstrous? It's described as like a snake, crocodile, scorpion thing, but was it just a crocodile? I don't know. This has me questioning everything. Not only is the little girl seeing things, but the knight just had a whole chapter where he's hallucinating, and then he kind of snaps out of it, and he's in the middle of a field when he thought he was in an arena fighting for his life, and his opponent in reality was a sheep. So like we aren't sure if this is actually fantasy, like because the fantasy elements seem hallucinatory or like not real. So that's an interesting element. The other part of this I wanted to talk about is the character dynamic. So this is actually humorous. This is really funny. The banter between the little girl and the knight is really funny. She's kind of precocious and she asks a lot of questions and just kind of, I don't know, pokes at him, teases him, tries to get him to, open up, and he's very gruff and grumpy and just swears a lot and gives her one-word answers all the time. And so their dynamic is super fun, and now we have the gay priest who is also adding to this dynamic. So while this is gross and there's death and gore and threats of sexual assault and violence, just gross stuff, gross descriptions, the character dynamic and the banter between the characters is what's driving me to continue reading. I mean, I will continue reading once I get my reading mojo back. For other things, I had fun in Sioux Falls, visiting friends. My friend and his wife are having a baby. I'm really happy for them. I've been playing Pokemon, which is probably consuming a lot of my time right now, and also knitting. And I'm really disappointed. I'll show you guys in a clip. I finished a big section of this blanket I'm working on, and I think I messed up, so I have to unravel some of it. And I'm just like dreading having to unravel and redo a big section of it because it takes time and I'm gonna have to do it again. But I'm a little bit of a perfectionist when it comes to knitting, crafting, this type of thing. I want it to look nice and be perfect. So I have to do that. So I'm not looking forward to that, but hopefully this week we get back on our other hobbies, we get off the screens a little bit more, and we focus on some reading with our eyeballs, reading with our ears. This is not girl dinner. This is girl lunch. I even measured things. Look at me go. Okay, this is my blanket that I'm working on. Okay, pretty cool. These little squares, right? All these little squares. But my last square I did, you can actually see it. It actually like tapers outward. It's not a perfect square, so I messed this one up. Hello, everyone. We are back after many more days have passed. I've just been reading a lot slower this month than is typical for me. And here comes hiccup. Let's talk a couple books. So I finished my audiobook, Daughter of the Otherworld, and this was not 5 stars. In fact, this was a 3-star read for me, which is terribly disappointing. I loved the original trilogy, but the reason I am giving this one a lower rating is because we are primarily following a teenage girl. And she's rightfully so behaving and acting and emotionally processing as a teenage girl. And I'm just, after following such awesome, fully adult women from the previous series, I was a little jarred by that and a little disappointed that we weren't following an adult main character. That's it. Another aspect of this one is that it's a little less political, and which is a little frustrating because that's what I loved about the first series, was how political it was. And the other thing I didn't like is that once our main character is alone for the first time, she gets immediately captured for a good chunk of the book. And so she just has a lack of agency, and it feels like she is not the driving force of the story, which is not my preference for storytelling or for this series in general. I like when the main characters drive the plot forward and not have the plot yank the characters around. So I'm a little disappointed in this one. 3 stars. I am 250 pages into Between Two Fires, and I can tell you right now, I'm liking it, but I'm not loving it. So I don't think this is going to be a 5-star either. Unfortunately, this is just really gross, and part of the reason I enjoy horror is this like sense of impending doom and dread and sense of fear. And I'm not scared of this book. I just get grossed out every once in a while. There's a lot of body horror going on, which is not maybe my preference. I'm still trying to figure out what my horror taste is, but I don't think this is necessarily it. I don't know what we're driving forward to. I mean, the little girl's like, I have to get to wherever, and she doesn't even know why. So it's kind of leaving me feeling disconnected from the actions of the characters and the plot. It also got less funny. Obviously, this is a very serious, dark book and time period, but I was hoping there would be a few more lighthearted banter moments, and we're not. After the first 100 pages, we're kind of lacking that in the second 150 pages that I read. Is lacking some of the levity, some of the character moments that I enjoyed in the first 100 pages. So I don't think this is gonna be 5-star either. And I actually read I don't know, are we on book 5 or 6 for this vlog? I don't know. I read another audiobook, and that was Sorcery and Small magics. This is a fantasy romance, a queer fantasy romance, and this suffered a little bit to me because the plot of the story is that there's these two kind of rival magicians. One is a caster and one is a scriber, so one can write the magic and the other one can actually cast the magic, and they are forced into close proximity and they have to work together because the caster accidentally casts a obedience spell on our main character Leo, who is the scriber, and he has to do whatever Sebastian, the other guy, says. So they're trying to break the curse. They go on an adventure to break the spell. And this suffered a little bit because the romance is going to continue developing in next installments. And I would prefer that their romantic plotline had been one book. And that's just my preference. So this isn't a bad story. In fact, it was fine. It was a good time. I actually liked their dynamic. It's very much so rivals to lovers. But it just wasn't for me in that way that the romantic pacing is going to be stretched over multiple books. So they don't hate each other at the end of the book, but they're definitely not in their happily ever after moment, if that makes sense. Another thing I didn't love is this is only from Leo's perspective, and he is annoying as heck. He is a noble, and he has a lot of baggage, and he is clearly struggling with something and doesn't tell the reader, but it's very obvious what that thing is. And so when the reveal happened at the 75% mark, I was like, well, yeah, duh. Of course that was the thing that he was struggling with, So it just felt kind of meh, and I didn't love following Leo as a main character. So this was I don't mean this in a bad way, but this was like a 2.5 star read for me. Not in that I think it was bad. I actually don't think that. It just was not for me, and I just read it to finish it. But I don't have negative feelings about it, if that makes sense. I just didn't love it. It wasn't captivating to me. But this is really highly rated on Goodreads, so I would still recommend this book if you're interested and you're wanting a drawn out romantic plot. That is that. It is actually my birthday today. Say happy birthday to me. Only if you want to. But I have been doing this vlog for a month. I started at the beginning of March, and it is now the end of March. And this is going to act as kind of my March reading, wrap up, because these were all the books I read in the month of March that I didn't already talk to you about. Instead of scrapping this vlog, because we didn't find a 5-star, I am going to post this as my March reads, my March reading wrap up. I didn't love anything in this vlog. We had some solid reads, some very middling reads, but that's okay. I'm just reading a lot slower, so I'm just not finding as many books to love this month, and that's okay. We can try again in April. If you made it to the end of this video, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video of mine very soon. Bye!